What's up, everybody? How you doing? How you doing? I got something different for y'all today, man. As you can see, I got a video from a past stream this week. Earlier this week, I was playing some Halo Infinite. And fun fact about me, I love Halo, man. I played every Halo, literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Infinite, ODST. The only two that I never finished was Halo Wars 1 and 2. Don't get me wrong, I played them though. It was just a skill issue. I'm trash at real time strategy games, bro. You know, but I was having fun with it, and maybe one day I had to go back. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. All right. I recently just got back into playing Halo Infinite, and I was questioning what went wrong with Halo. You know, because granted, when Halo first dropped, wasn't that good. You know what I mean? The progression was slow as hell. And don't get me wrong, Halo's progression has always been slow in the original trilogy. Halo 3, I remember that grind was serious, especially for ranked, you know. And I came to the conclusion that it's just like, yo, the story definitely must have been a thing. Obviously, Halo Infinite story is different. It was I kept the open mind playing it, Me personally, I didn't mind it as much, you know. And it just it just felt like it didn't make sense to have the banished come back. You know what I mean? And it's just like we fell so far from the original trilogy, and then with 4 and 5, the way that story went, and then to branch off the way Infinite did, it felt all over the place, bro. You know? And Halo Infinite has like that nostalgic factor of Halo, like the original trilogy feel, because it has legacy setting modes, it has like the BRs, it has all the core Halo elements, right? But it just falls short, you know? Like, one problem I had personally was whenever I played Infinite, my controls felt so clunky. And then I realized when I went into the settings, for some reason the default on my settings was running at 30 frames per second. And then when I put it to 60, it felt smooth like butter, you know? And it's like, yo, first off, why is it even set at that as a default? You know what I mean? That right there blew my mind. And then honestly, the issues of like the loading times, and even when you gotta check your battle pass, at least for me, when I check my battle pass on Infinite, sometimes it'll glitch out and you wouldn't be able to look at your rewards. And sometimes after a match, your rewards won't be uploaded until you play like a second or third match. So little things like that I could understand would turn the player off, you know? I get that. But me as like a Halo veteran, growing up on Halo, loving Halo the way that I do, is just like, damn, like this game really had so much to offer, and it just fell flat. And my personal opinion, I really do think it's from the story. Like, and obviously a lot of games are fast paced now. That's just the thing. Halo's always been a little on the slower pace side, but then when you had Halo Reach, they introduced, the sprint. Oh, damn, I forgot about Halo Reach. Yes, I play Halo Reach also. They introduced, like the sprint feature, and then the jetpacks and the different abilities to switch it up. And people love Reach. That's a classic. You know what I mean? But it's just like, for some reason, Infinite just failed to capture that. And they have some pros though. There's a couple pros in there that I think was like very innovative, and for some reason it just fell flat. Like, back to the battle pass. I love the fact that even if you miss the battle pass, you can always go back and unlock it and get back whatever you missed out on. And to this day, like, granted they're on their last battle pass where it's called Infinite, but you could always go back and get all the other stuff. And they even have like the shop where you could exchange Spartan points to unlock certain helmets and gear that you missed out on. I feel like that's fire, you know? But unfortunately, it just seems like they didn't like run with it, you know? I feel like the team gave up. And it sucks because like, yo, you had it there. The progression could be a little sped up because, like I stated earlier in this video, when you level up on the battle pass on Halo Infinite, it feels like it's forever and it's tedious. Nobody wants to deal with that. You know, you could speed up the leveling a little bit, which they kind of did with this last update. It sucks that it took that long, you know, but that should have been updated from the jump. Y'all should have made the progression slightly faster, you know? The gameplay and the core gameplay elements, it's there. Like, that's Halo, bro. And they even have, like, it has that nostalgic feel. It really does. But it's just unfortunate that the story fell flat and it doesn't connect to what happened in 5. You know? I understand they wanted to branch off and try something different, which is fine. But the story just, what's going on? Honestly, in my humble opinion, I think starting from Halo 4, they should have scrapped that whole Forerunner thing, alright? Screw all of that, in my humble opinion, right? Because after the events of Halo 3, we got Arbiter running the swords of Sanghelios and all that, right? I would like to make the argument that Halo 4 would have been way better if Arbiter calls on Chief for help, because he's dealing with Rogue Covenant and he's protecting like his planet and all the other like Sanghelios affiliated like planets. You know what I mean? I feel like that would have been like a crazier story, and it would be a nice callback. It would have been a nice callback to Halo 2, where you switch between playing Master Chief and playing Arbiter. And then when you play the 4-player co-op, you have, Master Chief and then 3 elites. Well, not 3 elites, but Master Chief and Arbiter and then 2 more elites. Or since they got the new Spartan program, like they could have introduced that, where it's like, okay, we got Chief, another Spartan, and an Arbiter, and his right hand man or right hand woman, whatever. I feel like that would have played out way better than the story that we got. Now, don't get me wrong, the open world was kind of cool and Infinite. I didn't mind it. It was different. It was fresh. But it's just when it comes to the villains and where the story is going, there's no direction. Which is why the next Halo that's coming out is just the Unreal remaster of Halo Combat Evolved. Which looks beautiful, by the way, don't get me wrong. But it's like, yo, y'all, if you wanted to continue Master Chief's story, you should have did more with Arbiter. Because Arbiter, from Halo 2 and 3, Arbiter was linked to Chief. You definitely, like, Chief's story was done after Halo 3. You definitely should have, if you wanted to make a Halo 4, Arbiter needs help, yo, I did you a favor in Halo 3, Chief, I'm gonna need you to back me up in Halo 4. I feel like that would have been crazy. And then we get to see the Sangeli culture and how they are and how Arbiter is dealing with being a leader now. Because remember, in Halo 2, when he became Arbiter, he was exiled. They gave him the mark of shame and everything. So it would have been a crazy story, in my opinion, where we have Arbiter turning from zero to hero, pretty much, And I don't know, I think it would have played out way better. And the thing that sucks is, like, Halo Infinite really ain't a bad game. It needed work, yes, 100%. What game doesn't need work? But it's just, yo, you guys, like, failed to take, like, what made the core Halo from Halo 1, 2, and 3, and then build on that story in a different way, as opposed to what they did with the Forerunners and the Didact and all that. They did, like, the whole route of it was a prophecy that Chief was the chosen one and all that. I don't know. I wasn't really feeling it. I played it, because I'm going to play it regardless. I have my gripes with it. But I just think, like, 4 and 5 would have been way better if we had Arbiter back. Because I think Arbiter's story would have been a bigger impact in the galaxy as opposed to what we got with 4 and 5. And then Chief being like going against orders, and then having old Spartans that we never even, like, there was no mention beforehand. We never heard of anything from Halo 1, 2, and 3 about any other Spartan, right? When it came to Halo 5, it was just like, yo, we got Locke and the new Spartan program. All right, that's cool. But then here's Chief's original team. Where's the connection with that? You know what I mean? Understand they'll probably be connected from the books and the novels and all that, but as a casual player, for new players, no one's going to know about that. Like, it wouldn't be new user-friendly. I think it would have been a better reset of the trilogy, definitely with Arbiter, with someone we already know, and who has a new rank and a new goal going against Rogue Covenant. And it's just unfortunate, man. I love Halo so much, bro. I grew up on Halo, and I still love Halo. It just sucks that I see Halo Infinite, which had the potential, and now that they're moving to the next phase, it's kind of just falling out, man. And it sucks as a diehard Halo fan, man. It really does suck. I just wish the story was different. I wish there was less plot holes. I wish they did more with Arbiter and his story. I feel like it would have been a better impact, and it would have stayed relevant. And all they had to do was maybe make Halo a little more fast paced, but not too much where it gets away from like the core elements of what separates Halo from all these games that we have now, like Call of Duty and Apex with all the wall bouncing and sliding and all that, you know? I mean, granted, you could sprint and slide in Halo and all that, but it's not as fast and it won't feel as fluid as Apex, you know? Or COD. Like, whichever one you want to compare it to, you know? But, oh man, I love Halo with all my heart to this day, bro. And it's just unfortunate to see a game that you really love that is just, unfortunately, not sticking with the masses anymore, man. And I understand every game has their peak. You know, it's like bittersweet, man. To grow up with something that you're so passionate playing every day as a kid, and then when there's like, oh, the new one's out, and it's not as good as it used to be. You know, but like they say, all good things must come to an end one day, right? But I just think they let Halo Infinite kind of just free fall, you know? But also, it's like this new thing. There's like a disconnect with these companies and the communities. It's low key hurting gaming, you know? I miss the days where you can give community feedback and then companies will be like, you know what? All right, let's dial it back. Let's take our time. These days, they just drop a product and claim that it's finished. Meanwhile, it's all buggy and clunky and it's not really finished. They're releasing the game like 80%, you know? And then they want to complain that the numbers ain't doing well. Well, your numbers would do better if you dropped the complete game. And stop blaming the community. That's why there's a disconnect, you know? But I just wanted to share my thoughts on Halo, man. Getting back into Infinite, I love Halo so much, bro. It just sucks to see that it's kind of free falling out the loop, you know? But that's all I got for y'all this video. Like, subscribe, and if you don't, it's all good. Thank you for tuning in anyway. Hope you guys have a blessed day. Catch me on streams. DC.Shogun for the YouTube. Obviously, you're here. And then for the Twitch, DC__Shogun. And yeah, y'all. With that being said, much love and deuces.